Hey y'all, I am hopping on to teach y'all about the BRRR method. Hey, disregard my skin. I'm like breaking out. I don't understand what's going on. It's like ever since I worked out, I just started breaking out. Hey, Agent Elay. Hey, G2 Gent for real. So I want to talk about the BRRR method. A lot of people ask me how I flip my properties, how I get more properties. And so I'm going to use today to talk about the BRRR method, which is the method that I use to be able to buy properties, rehab them, refinance them, and repeat the process. And we're just going to go through an example. Oh, and I just remember I could have brought in my whiteboard, but I think it's going to be backwards on the camera. I don't know. So if you don't know what the BRRR method is, it is the buy, rehab, refinance, and repeat method, okay? And so this is how you can buy your property, rehab it, refinance it, and rent it out and do it all over again. But the number one thing you need to remember when you're doing all of this is that you have to buy the property under market value. You cannot buy the property at market value, West listed on Zillow, all that stuff, and expect this to work, because it's not going to work. Okay, so just to give you guys an example of what I did with the BRRR method. I'm gonna stop saying it because I can't say it today. So just to give you an example of what I did with this method, I found a property on HUDHomestore.com. I tell y'all about this site all the time. There are HUD properties all around the United States of America. You just have to get your agent to be able to bid for you. Now, I did do a post on Instagram about the fact that you do not need a real estate license to be able to invest in real estate, okay? And I'm gonna start this up on I always forget about my Periscope people, so let me start this up for them because they're gonna want to know. Okay. Let me start this for them. Okay. Okay. So when we are talking about the BRRR method, buy, rehab, refinance, and repeat, let me just give you an example so that you can know how to do this method, so that you can be able to buy properties and just repeating the process to build your rental property portfolio. Okay, so here's an example. I purchased a property on HUDHomestore.com for $14,700. If you are not familiar with HUDHomestore.com, if you have not heard me talking about HUDHomestore.com, it is basically a site through the Department of Housing and Urban Development where you can buy properties that have been foreclosed for cheap. Okay, so I bought this property for $14,700. Yes, HUDHomestore.com. I bought this property for $14,700. It was listed for $14,000. I beat it over by $700 because it was a lot of people interested in the property and I wanted it. So I bid it over. I had to get a licensed real estate agent to bid for me. So I know that if you're following me on Instagram, you know that I said that you do not have to have a real estate license in order to invest in real estate. But if you want to bid on sites like HUD, you have to have a real estate agent to bid for you. So I worked with a real estate agent. She was sort of like my mentor as well. I worked with her. She bid it for me. I bid it over because there was a lot of demand on the house. And I bid it over by $14,700. Now, a lot of people are always like, well, where did I get the money if I didn't have any money? Which I didn't have any money. And I tell you guys all the time, I have over right now, $135,000 worth of student loans. So what I need you to understand is that if you are able to go out and you're able to get a car on the lot, off the lot, a brand new car for $35,000, then you're able to walk into a credit union, and based on your income and based on your debt, you're able to get a personal loan, which is how me getting a personal loan was how I got my first investment property. My personal loan was only for $15,000, and I went through my credit union. My monthly payment on that personal loan was only $250 a month. Okay, so keep those numbers in mind. I got a personal loan for $15,000. They put the cash in my account. Then I got my realtor to go on HUDHomestore.com, bid on this property for me, and I won the bid. Now, once I got the property, I started to rehab the property. The way I was able to rehab the property was by my own funds through my job. At the time, my salary at my job was $75,000. If you're not familiar with my background, I worked in IT, and I worked in banking. I was a computer programmer, data analyst, and I did data analytics and things like that. So that is why I had a high salary. Now I'm full-time entrepreneur, so I don't have that salary anymore. But I was able to rehab based on the money that I had coming in from my job. Now, if you don't have a high salary, if you don't have, you're not getting like a high income or anything like that, then I would suggest when you got your personal loan to purchase the property, make sure you estimate the repairs and you get enough money to purchase the property plus the rehab amount, okay? So the BRRR method, that is the first thing. That is the first is buying the property, okay? Which I did through a personal loan through my credit union. You can buy it different ways. You can have a hard money lender. You can have somebody give you some private money. You could have a family member give you some money. But the first thing is to buy. Hey, the first thing is to buy, okay? Now let's talk about the rehab. Hold on, I got a question. Did you ask for $15K or was that all they gave? No, I asked for $15K. Oh, thank you. Hey. Yes, free game. I'm giving y'all a free game. She's telling the truth. Look at the comments, because in Flip Your Block Academy, like, y'all, this goes even like up. Like, you would think that right now the free stuff that I'm giving y'all, it stops there. It doesn't. Like, it goes even up in Flip Your Block Academy, because then I like get on the phone and I talk to people on the phone about their specific things that they're trying to do. And I get a lot of slack from that, because people are like, you know, it's kind of like, I know that I say that Flip Your Block Academy is group coaching, but depending on the number of students that I have, in cycle 1 I had about 25 students. Depending on the number of students I have, and depending on the the what's going on around, if I have time, then I set up one-on-one calls with everybody. Okay, somebody asked, what can I get with no money? I'll tell you towards the end of this live, but I can tell you right now, you can start wholesaling, and you can also do this same method that I'm speaking about with a hard money lender. And I hope I am going to be able to save this live, because if I'm not able to save it, I'm going to try to save it on Periscope and upload it to IGTV. Okay, so that was when I hope I can save it, but when I use this software, I don't know if it's saving it or not, but I'll check. So that was the buying. The rehabbing, you gotta make sure you estimate repairs. I would say when you're buying, get an up and coming small business. Like, get a guy that does good work, that's rehabbing homes, but he's up and coming in your area, and let him walk the house with you and tell you how much everything is going to be. I'm not talking about a home inspection. I'm talking about getting get a person that does work, a contractor, to walk the home with you when you're trying to buy it, so that he can tell you, you know, what everything is going to cost. Okay, so like, you could walk the property with him, and then he's like, okay, it's going to cost $10,000. Then, you know, when you get your credit union loan, or you get a personal loan, or you're going with a hard money lender, you know that you need to tack on $10,000 to the purchase price. Okay, or if he says it's going to cost $10,000, well, and you're making money in your business, then your business or your regular job, then you know that, okay, if it's going to cost 3 to 6 months for you to get a total of $10,000, then you know that you need to take it slow with your rehab. Y'all, my first rehab took me a year. I had some legal stuff going on, so I couldn't do things like I wanted to, but it took me a year to complete. Like, don't get so caught up in the watching HGTV that you think that you got to go in and you got to fix the house ASAP, and you got to have it done ASAP. No, take your time, especially if it's your first one. Okay, so that's the buying, rehabbing. Now, this is how you're going to build your portfolio. So you bought the property. I'm using mine as an example. I bought the property at $14,700. Let me write this down so I can make sure I have my numbers right. I'm going to write on my daughter homework that she ain't done, because I don't know why she feel the need to write her first name and not her last. She going to do it when she get home. Okay, so I bought the property at $14,700. I put about, I wish I had kept up with this, but I know for a fact, as of now, to date, I've put about, I'll say $10,000 into it. I didn't put a lot into it, because a lot of things that I did on the property, I did for cheap. I didn't like try to buy the most expensive things out of Lowe's and Home Depot. Like, I bought things on clearance. You just have to like really budget, okay? And also, Nay.2J says, keep in mind you still have payments to make. So yes, but you could also, depending on your loan conditions with your bank. So for instance, I got this loan and I bought the property and I closed within like 2 weeks. Well, my payments were like 90 days of no payments. So that means you got 90 days if you are like, if you moving quick. I mean, if I knew what I knew now, I probably could have done this in 90 days before my payments even started. Okay, so that $10,000 added on to the $14,700, that gives me $24,700 that I put in so far. Okay, so now I go and I find a renter. Now we're in the refinance stage. Okay, so I went and I found my renter. Now on my first property, because it was some things in the house that I wanted to get finished, and I wanted to get my renter in ASAP. Rent in the area was supposed to be $750, $800. I put her rent at $685. Okay, so that is, now I have a renter paying $685. And remember, I told you the monthly note was $250. So that is leaving me with $435. Then I went and got homeowners insurance, and my homeowners insurance was $120. Okay, so now I'm left with $315 in my pocket. That's how much is in my pocket. Now keep in mind, I bought this house at $14,700. I put $10,000 in it. That's $24,700 I've spent on this property. I got a renter in at $685. Okay, minus the homeowners insurance, leaves me with $315 in my pocket every month. But now what I'm about to do is I'm about to refinance this property. Okay, so now that I've rehabbed the property, I bought the property at $14,700. I put $10,000 in it. So my total expense is $24,700. But guess what? Because I rehabbed the property is worth $66,000. Okay? The property is worth $66,000. So what I did, I'm doing some math because I need to do math, because I hate math, y'all. Okay, so if you subtract what I put in the property, that leaves you with like $31,300 out of that equity. So we're gonna take the equity. We're saying that this property is worth $66,000 minus the $24,700. That leaves me with $31,000. So what you're gonna do, you're gonna refinance at the amount that you need. So in my case, I refinanced to pay off debt. So what worked, it worked for me, but things happened a little differently. So this property, once I got done, was worth $66,000. But remember that I used a personal loan from the credit union. So I had this $15,000 loan that I was paying like $200 a month on, because remember I told you that this rehab took me a year. Okay, so throughout this year, I also had my main home that I was living in. If you follow my story, you know that I went through a divorce and I was forced to sell that property. Okay, well, what I did was what a lot of people didn't think to do, but I was smart. I took the equity out of my first home and I paid off the loan that I had on this home. So this particular property basically got paid off when I sold my first home. Okay, so now I got this property over here. My investment property has no mortgage attached to it. So now I'm able to finance up to $66,000. So what I did was, I am a very strong believer in living debt free, and I had two big personal loans that I had took out when I was going through the divorce, and I wanted it paid off. So I took out $45,000 because now I had, like, the house was free and clear. I took out $45,000 and I paid off those 2 loans, and now my renter basically pays that monthly mortgage, which is now, instead of $250, the monthly mortgage is $315, and that was for a $45,000 loan. So she pays $685 a month, and she's paying that debt back basically for me. And that cleared up off my credit. It got paid off. And now I have that loan, but now I'm able to show the bank, if I want to repeat this again, now I'm able to show the bank that I got a lease and I got this person paying this money, and that comes in as income for me. But what you guys can do is, you're gonna rehab. Then when you rehab, you're going to go ahead and refinance. Now, somebody asked, did I get the house appraised on Periscope? So when you get ready to refinance, they're going to do an appraisal and tell you what you're able to refinance and what the home is worth. They are only going to lend up to 90% of the home's value. So they are not going to lend, if the house is $66,000, they're not going to lend you $66,000. They're only going to lend up to 100%. Someone asked, how often are you able to do this a year, giving you have a 700 score and the loans bringing it down? Should you then pull equity to get the next property, so on and so forth? So it's 2 ways you can go about doing this. When I started out, my credit score was 730. Because of the divorce, my credit score went down to almost 500. Because some things I let go, I didn't care, because at that point I owned everything that I wanted to own. When I got this investment property, my score was 630. So the loans are not. Let me just talk real quick about credit. Yes, your debt to income ratio is going to go down, but your score should not be going down if you are making your payments on time. So what happens is, when you take out a loan, yeah, your score is going to go down that month, but you'll see that over the next couple of months, your score is going to increase. Because if you, let's just take your credit as an example. If you do not have a wide range of accounts on your credit report, your score will stay down. So, hey, Black Beauty. So if you have a student loan and a credit card, that's not enough to bring your score up. But if you have a student loan, a credit card, a car loan, and then you got a house loan over here, because you have a wide range of portfolio accounts, your credit score is going to raise. But yes, when you first get loans and when you first pay off loans, your score does go down that month, but you will see that it will increase. Okay? So, yeah, that's that. So, what you all do is you refinance. They're going to do the appraisal. You're going to take that money and you're going to do what you want with it. But in this case, when you refinance, I will highly suggest that you take that money and you go find another distressed property, or find a property that's like cheap, that you can continue to do this. Someone asked, how often are you able to do this a year? Some people do this several times a year. It took me a year to do this, but once I was able to refinance, I mean, last year I bought 2 properties in that same year. What if you don't have any loans and don't owe anybody, but your credit score is a 600? Do you get a credit card, and do you go get a car? I wouldn't get a car loan. I hate car loans. If you do have to get a car loan, make sure you get a good interest rate and go through a credit union. My interest rate on my last car was 1%. And don't be putting all this money down when you get a car loan, y'all. That just, when they say you got to pay all this money down to get a car, they're lying. I have never put a down payment on a car. That money is really going into, that's really like the the sales agent commission. So yes, if you do not have anything on your credit and you're trying to build credit, I would suggest that you get a secured credit card, or you can get a credit card, but start out with like a limit of like 500 to 1,000. Don't get a don't go out and don't fall for these gimmicks when they're trying to like increase your credit limit, because they trying to get you. Just don't do it. Stick with 500 to 1,000. And go do something like get gas, pay it off in that same month, build your credit that way. Also, if your score is down and you just don't understand why, update your personal information on your credit report, because if you got misspelled names, old addresses, misspelled employer names, that stuff brings your credit down as well. Yeah, okay. So then you repeat the process, y'all, and trust me, people are doing this. I know it's a guy I follow. I love him. Invest for more, FOUR. This guy got like, I can't even remember the number, but he got over like 40 something rentals. I talked about this before, like, I get homes or people that are trying to sell their properties off or whatever. This one guy, he's an older gentleman. He had, I forgot how many properties he had, but his annual income was $250,000 cash flow. So after you subtract the homeowner's insurance and whatever other expenses he had on his properties, this man's annual income was $250,000 a year cash flow. Oh, that person's IG that I like to follow, Invest for More. It's INVESTFOUR more. And he's somebody I like to follow because he's not like, I'm all into like the Dave Ramsey method of like being debt free, but I also like nice stuff. And the guy that runs Invest for More, like when you see, like he loves cars, so he goes out and he buys like these lavish cars. Like I like Grant Cardone. I like the fact that he just bought a private jet. That's something I would do. The @ is Invest for More. Okay. This same Nat has been in my life the last time. He don't want to go away. Somebody asked, do I have home warranties? I don't have a home warranty, but I went through a service called Home Serve, which is it's like a home warranty, but it's like a service that covers certain things. So I signed up for the plumbing, exterior plumbing, and heating and AC unit line, and it cost me like $50 a quarter. The reason why I signed up for exterior plumbing is because with some home warranties, they will not cover exterior plumbing. And some of these, the home that I had was like built in like 1940 something, so I'm pretty sure a pipe might bust in the yard, and so I'm just preparing myself. And they work wonders, because my renter had an issue with her heating and air, and they came out, fix it, no cost to me, but the $50 every quarter. So that's every 3 months, $50, and I averaged that into the monthly rent. So how do taxes work with all of this? So taxes work in this way. You're going to report your income on your annual tax return just like you do. You're also going to pay yearly taxes on the property, which you're supposed to average into your monthly rent, which is what I do. And I teach all of this in Flip Your Block Academy. So if you're on the wait list for Flip Your Block Academy, get ready, because we're going to go through all this, and we're going to go over the system that I use for property management, the lease that I use, and collecting rent and all that stuff. Like, we go over everything. Okay? So, does anybody have any questions about the BRRR method? Because this is how you can get started ASAP. Also, for the people that don't have the money to begin the method, you can get a hard money lender who will, if you check my Instagram stories, I shared a post that showed you 2 ways that you can do this without using your own money. And when you do real estate, you want to use others people's money anyway. Somebody wants to know what the RS stands for. RS. Elaborate. Somebody on in the BRRR. Buy, rehab, refinance, and repeat. Ooh. Okay. I gotta go, y'all, because I promised my cousin I would talk to her at 12, and I gotta go. It's 12 her time. It's 1 my time. So, I hope this was helpful. No, I don't see any more questions, and I hope this saves, and I hope this introduced you to a new way of thinking about real estate investing. So make sure you check out flipyourblock.com. I am opening doors on February 28th. I do have payment plans. Okay, I'm looking out for y'all this time. And we are having 5 modules of content. We have live video sessions, and I call y'all on the phone when I want to talk to y'all and see what's going on in your life. Okay, so I hope this was helpful, and I hope this saves. But if not, I'm going to try my best to save this from Periscope and upload it to my IGTV. So you all enjoy the